What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Flying with Mike. Very nice to be a little bit closer to an on-time start. Got a little delayed there doing the little tweaking of Nightbot and Streamlabs. So our other software-based moderation. But anyway, welcome in. Today is flight 2 of this comparison. Yesterday, we dove into the Flight Factor A320. Now, like I said on Discord, leading into this flight, the big difference between the two is they are actually two different aircraft. However, very similar in nature when looked at. The difference, as you can already tell, is the engine. Much bigger, and size does matter here, folks. It is more efficient. It's kind of funny. But you do get a better efficiency out of this aircraft with these new, what's called NEO technology engines. So that's going to be one of the big differences, obviously, between Flight Factor and Toliss. So we're going to do this flight. We're going to dig into it as best I can. Somebody who would be like you, out looking to purchase an aircraft for my flight sim and things I look for in them. Now, if you told me to which one do I like the best, I'd have a hard time telling you, because each one, as I showed you yesterday, well, I'll show you the same today. Each one has characteristics I do like. So it'd be tough for me to sit there and go, Toliss is the best. No, Flight Factor is the best. So I leave that as Fox News originally started. It isn't today, but it was originally. We'll report, you decide. So we'll be in that kind of a framework, but it is not the same way at Fox News today as it was when it first started. All right, so on the surface, aside from the big engines and the sharks on the wings, sharklets they call them, which, by the way, if you didn't see our Burbank to Vegas to Phoenix with Spirit Airlines, I highly recommend that on YouTube. Reason being, you may not like Spirit, but I like the spirit they put out on their aircraft. That was, if you looked at the sharklets on there, I think it said something like howdy instead of spirit. So you gotta kind of like the slapstick humor they do. That was kind of cool. But to check out that video and every video that we're able to upload, sometimes there has been a couple that weren't able to make it, and they were actually some pretty good flights. But it is what it is, you know, the world of technology. Sometimes it works and sometimes it fails. So, but the good, the bad, the ugly, no matter what, go up there. Um, and we flew a flight a couple days ago in the Citation 10 into here, spotlighting X-Plane 12.0.9.3 to see if, and what we did know, what it looked like on approach. Because the time we came in with breeze, there were power lines in the simulator right where you're trying to line up for the runway. They're gone, folks, and we're going to show you that as we taxi out today. So we're going to do it kind of twofold like yesterday. Show off some of the stuff we knew that was, you know, scenery-wise that needed to be worked on. And now we're going to show off also the aircraft. So, all right, so let's do it. Here's the A320NEO. Not much difference, I'll give you that. Except you're going to notice, well, let me show off one of them. One of the big things is they do have animated ground service to a point. And I don't know how GSX works. I don't have it, never had it. So, but let me show off this. So if you open up your plugins, come down to Toliss, go to Open ISCC, come down or go to your ground services. Now I know we're in a commercial break, so we're going to try to drag it out a little bit, another 35 seconds or so they can see this as well. Because remember, we're doing this as which one do you like? We all have certain things we look for in these things. I have, to me, a criterion it has to meet. And this checked off one of the boxes. All right, and they should be back here shortly. Okay, again, let me just close out the box because they're coming back right now. So let's go to Toliss, Open ISCS. It'll open usually on situations in aircraft. Well, let's just show it. All that does is you can set what engine, what bus switches. Imperial or metric, SATCOM, you see that. One other thing they do is you can age your aircraft. And if you understand the terminology of age, that's right, you could start seeing failures that may not be set up in your scenarios here. Okay, once you purchase, let's try that again. Once you purchase Toliss, if you have a SimBrief account, come over here to Sound Add-on, and Accounts. In the literature that comes with the aircraft in the manuals folder, it'll tell you what it's looking for. But what you're going to do is put your SimBrief ID here, not your username. Okay, you're going to have to dig into your SimBrief account, pull up your SimBrief ID number. That's what goes in there. And then you can read the literature how you want this set up. Hoppy CPLDC, that's just so you could log in with the CPDLC. Some centers monitor it, some don't. It's always it's just one of those things where I'm kind of wishing the US would do more with it, but they don't. And then, of course, if you want your ATIS source, which you'll see when we do it, what is it? VATSIM, IVAO, whatever. Okay? Then, of course, save. All right, so then, for purposes of what we're going to show off here, go to Ground Services, decide what you want here. You can push it back here. I still use better pushback. And now I'm going to open up a catering door. Now, Charleston would not have this, I don't think, but for the sake of demonstration, they just got one. Here it comes. Pay attention to it very carefully as he, of course, runs over the pylon. Now, that's attention to detail, folks. The levelers went down. Seeing all the moving parts? That's a level of detail, folks. I don't even know if GSX gets to it. The levelers level the vehicle. Some of the railing went out if you didn't see it. That is what I look for. When you're going to give me animation, that's what I like. Otherwise, plop them in, plop them out. Flight factor, that's a big thing with them. All right, we'll leave it as is, and let's get into the cockpit. That's what you all are here to really want to see. Let's get going. All right, behind the scenes, we also have an EFB. Set right now on AvTab, so here in Charleston, you can see my frame rates. And I think we had a pretty decent day. Let me just make sure it did not. Okay, we are real world weather. Okay, so I thought they had some pretty crummy weather today. Here's your weight and balance. We're going to do it a different way. You could, but we're going to go a different route. Takeoff and landing. Both work, both show you. We'll show it off. And for those of you that don't have a checklist, guess what? Comes with one. I won't be using it. I have one that gets us through quicker. All right, so let's get into this plane, shall we? All right, so we've done the preliminary. The batteries are on. We're on some kind of power, folks. The screens are all lit up. Yeah, we're on external power. Fuel pumps are off. I've also taken the liberty to make sure the flaps are 0 and 0. And unlike flight factor, they are down. They are not armed, I should say. When you arm them, you got a white band. That you should see. You don't see that in flight factor. Okay, continuing on. Next up on the list are fire checks. We're going to start by loading first. Now remember, you could do it over here. And yeah, I've actually never loaded it from here. You could also load the aircraft with the ISCS right here. Or, the way I like, with the system itself. Fuel request. But before we get into this, I am ahead of myself. Yes, you called me out on it, folks. Let's pre-brief. Let's do it right so we all are on the page too. Here comes sim brief. All right, so there you see it. We're going to fly, and I'll put it in the chat for all to see. It's a simple flight plan. If we had to manually load this thing, folks, it's a piece of cake. Who's here in Charleston? Someone I think's in here in Charleston. Huh. All right. And I will be coming online here shortly, folks, but I'm going to kind of hold off right now so that ambient traffic of people having to be heard on VATSIM can kind of move along. All right, so loadout for today. Actually, a pretty light loadout. 115 people. We got about 5,000 pounds of cargo between bags and cargo. Again, you saw the routing. Charleston, excuse me, folks, down to Spartanburg, and then direct to the Leopard and the GT out 1. I know this should be probably something, but anyway, cost index of 42. Now we're going to head up to 38,000 feet out of here. SPA will go to 39, and I guess that's because our heading shifted more slightly to the west, so we would take the upper altitude level. Unless the weather, maybe it had something to do with weather, who knows. Weather, speaking of, winds 230 at 14, gusts to 22. Make sure your toupees are strapped on here, because it is windy. 10 miles visibility and clear skies, 8 degrees Celsius. Actually, for Charleston, West Virginia, not a bad day in the winter. Every day I ever visited Charleston with the truck, it was always snowing. Always snowing. It's almost like a snowstorm was always planted right over Charleston. Always. All right, down in Mickey World, otherwise known to everyone else as Orlando. Bet you can't figure it out. It's a Florida day, folks. Winds are variable, puffing out of the sky at 3. 57 degrees and just beautiful down there, folks. We got some clouds at 13,000 feet and 30,000 feet to worry about, but no imminent problem with landing there, meaning a ceiling down around 200 feet or under a half mile. Just a beautiful Florida day. ATIS wise, here you go, folks. You can get what is currently being broadcast down there. Arrivals and departures, parallel use, visual approaches to 36 left, and runway 35 right now in use. So we're landing north, departing off the 36s. We planned we were landing south, and that could change. I'm starting to wonder if this might be VATSIM. So there you have it, folks. All right, and then real quick so you can see it on the map, here's where Charleston is. We're going down here. We're looking at about an hour and 50 minutes once we get airborne. All right. So, and then let's just go, yeah, see, not used. Okay, it is real. Okay. They are on the 36s, so we're going to have to change up a little bit. Maybe a lot. So let's do that here real quick. First off, while I have this up, let me bring up Orlando charts for parking gates. All right, so we're aiming for here in airside 3. All right, so basically we want the 36 runways, not the 35s on the other side. Okay. And just to prove that real quick, we were planning 18 left, now it's 3. So actually, I think it was 18 right. Whatever it was, folks, that's 18 right. Okay. So we were planning here to make our taxi right in. Now we're planning most likely here and work our way to it. All right, so let me go back and check. Arrivals are coming to alrighty, this is the departure message, this is the arrival. Okay, so simultaneous 3. And as you saw yesterday, folks, they changed it on us again. VATSIM changed it, not the real world. So visual approaches to 36 left. Okay. That'll be the outer runway. All right. So, go here. 3, 6, left. And I had a feeling that would not work for us. So, now we got to come up with a new arrival, and it may not be LPERD. So, here's what I do. Just click select. It's going to show them. So, Sinfold, it looks like, is what we may need to look at. Chart. Yep, that's the one we're going to shoot. Make sure it's for jets, not turboprops. We got on one of those once. Okay. All right, that looks like the one we'll use now instead. So we'll have a change once this gets loaded in. So that's why the arrivals, you'll find out that's why when you do these init requests, they should not be putting your departure and your arrival in, because, well, while the real world doesn't worry about VATSIM, there could be a change. VATSIM, just for the heck of it, changes it just to be VATSIM. All right, so we've got this better looking now. So we're going to go 3-6 left. And just to update us here, the weather on there again, still the same. So just a better, until they change it again, folks, we can't do anything about VATSIM. They're going to be what they are. All right, so let's get rid of that. Sim toolkit. And let's get to work, shall we? Let's get to loading the plane. All right, so remember I clicked mechanical. You can set your chocks. All of that's, a lot of the stuff on the IS or ICSC, I think it is, however an acronym goes, can be done here. Fuel. We're putting on 14,868. Let's go with 15. Request. And yes, there's a fuel truck driving up, folks. And yeah, he drove through the caterer. And just for argumentative, let's go ahead and get rid of the caterers. Watch the leveler right here. You can kind of see one here. See, that's kind of animation I like, folks. When you realize there's a lot more to it than what they show. And I don't know what GCX shows. I've never paid attention. And I think we're full of fuel. Yep, we are. All right, because the fuel truck was pulling away. All right, back at it. Okay, so we got our fuel load in. Now, okay, for now, we'll keep our bags like this. And let's turn our attention to the ATT attendant button. Again, you have control of the doors. And remember, I talked about cross-check? Here's where you can do that. All right, today's loadout, 115. You can see the two lines move you down quicker. The single moves you by singles. 115. All right, load. Now, let's come over to the weight and balance. Click Reset Current. Our zero fuel weight for today is 123,051. Folks, we're off, oh my gosh, by 9 pounds. Cancel the flight. We just can't fly with these conditions. Just can't do it. Sorry, folks, we're going. So yeah, we match. All right, so that's cool. We're set, loaded, ready to go. You'll see how all of this plays in here in a minute. Moving on up. Not to the east side, but to the other side of the cockpit. Fuel pumps, we already know we're off. Now, let's do our APU fire check. Yeah, I thought I'd try it, but it didn't work. Some airplanes it will. Okay, let's do the others while we're here. Again, usually there's ways to hold this button down. Come down here, make sure you're seeing the fire warning here. Appropriate if you're doing APU, it'll only be here. Fire warnings would also go down and show up here and here. While we're at this point, look at your radar, make sure it's off. PWS is off. You can turn multi-scan and GCS on. All right. Now that we're loaded, let's go ahead and crank up the APU and start warming this pup up. Same thing, little better readability here than I think Flight Factor, and the overall look of the panel, I think, looks better. In my opinion, you all fly these things or looking may say, nope, you're wrong there, Cap. Hey, I'm perfectly fine with that. Told that all the time. Okay, we got our flap open. Let's go up and start it. Don't forget to wear your hearing protection, folks. Pretty good, huh? Okay, and it's available. All right, so let's go up, continue our checks. Cockpit lights. This we can, again, just like Flight Factor, do the test. Make sure all the light bulbs, I always, because Flight Factor used to put things up here we could use. Okay, light bulbs look good. Thing looks good here. There's that fire and fault that we were looking for to go off. Okay. Flap levers. 0, and we already showed that it does match. 0, no, can't show it. Okay. Spoilers, don't see the white band. And again, double check your radar that the radar itself is off. PWS is off, and that stands for probable wind shear equipmenting on here. So, and then make sure your terrain radars are off. Okay, now let's head up and catch some things we didn't last time. We got the probe heat. We talked about that. We missed this one. Now let's go down here one more. Whoop. Go to condition. And they're warming up. Back end's pretty good. The front end's going to take a little bit, but we're in good shape there. Let's unselect. Continuing on with the APU bleed on. Air conditioning panel will leave as is. We can disconnect from ground power. That flicker means we're on APU power now. Cross bleeds auto. Generators 1 and 2, because the big engines aren't spinning, they're not running. Electrical panel, all other lights are off, and the ventilation panel is set. Alright. The only difference here, well no, the 319 has a more robust ACARS system, or ACARS, IRS system, ADIRS. This is all they give us. Make sure you get that on bat. Okay. Strobe lights auto. The reason there's an auto switch over in Europe, they don't necessarily turn their strobes on going onto the runway like we do here in the US. So when they lift off the gear, you know, the struts drop down. As soon as they drop, the strobe lights come on. And then when they recompress on landing, the lights go off. So pilots like yours truly, don't forget. But you're still more than like, welcome to put it in on if that's you. Just don't do it on the ground because you're going to blind everybody. All right, Navlo go. Let's go with 2 today. Explained that yesterday. Seatbelts will now turn on. And I lost my place here, folks. There we go. Non-smoking is on. Emergency lights are auto. Landing elevation auto. It's this switch right here. Just make sure that line points straight up 12 o'clock. Pack flow. We'll stay normal with a light load. And fuel pumps. We can now turn those back on. And engine fire check's already done. Radios 1, 2, and 3 are set and ready. And folks, usually you do not have to mess with this, but that in big quotes, usually it comes in fine. But again, always this is the time to check so you're not having radio issues when you try to talk to VATSIM. Transponder, I do anyway. I turn it on, move it at least up to altitude reporting off, or X-bounder. Either one turns it to mode C. You know we have to coddle ATC controllers today. They may lose themselves if we're not in mode C. Alright, and that, folks, brings us to the infamous McDo, which, guess what, isn't much different in this plane. Just some procedural things are a little different here, but overall, you're going to find it the same. It should be. It's an Airbus. They shouldn't change anything just because it's flight factor, just because it's Toliss, just because it's X-plane, because they do have an A330 in X-plane. Not a 20, but a wide-body 330. All right, so again, check your engines. That is correct. Your nav data dates, January 24th. Not too far away. We'll be looking for an update then. All right, so let's start it just like before, init. Now, you don't have to start it by putting your from and to in there. When you click this button, it'll do it for you. However, Little difference now between flight factor and Toliss that you need to know. Go to data. Okay, now to get back to that first page, it's right there. We'll show that here in a second. But come down here to ACARS print function. Okay, there's your flight plan. You can print it. No, I don't want to print it. Takeoff data, I can print. No, I don't want to print it. How about we go to the next one? Now I can request it and it'll be in the box when I get back. So this, I think, is more real as to how they do it in the real world. Folks, I have to confess, never been in the cockpit when they're at this point. Actually, I've never been in the cockpit of an Airbus, to be totally honest with you. Except maybe a 330, but that's a long time ago. Like 2002. So let's go back to it and do it like we saw yesterday. This is the only way in flight factor, but you could do it the other way. You know what? Let's do it the other way. What the heck? It doesn't take much. Click. Flight data link in progress. And it. Ooh, look at that. It's all done for us already. Perf data uplink complete. AOC aircraft flight plan update. Everything was done, folks. So you can do it in a couple of different ways. Now, let's get in here and get this thing initialized. We have 4 minutes. This is something I showed yesterday. I want to show it again today. And I don't think we have a specific... Okay, it is on that chart. Okay. All right. So you can see where we are. We're in B2. This one right here. B2 coordinates are 22.3. 38, 22.3. Okay, so make it say that. Click the line select for the longitude. Longitude should be 8135.7. Okay, so we got to go up 1. Okay, down 2 now. Okay, so overall it's 38, 22.3 north. Okay. Longitudinally, we're 8135.7 west. Okay, correct ready would have been 08135.7. Yeah, I know. Align. Confirm. So when the alignment hits 0, it aligns right where we are at gate B2. And we're done. And you can do your wind here or here. Clear. And it. And we just did our winds, so we're updated. Pretty snazzy, huh? Ground temp 13. I don't think that's right. It isn't. Ground temp is 9. I'm gonna leave that because everything's looking right on the plane. That's kind of weird. Now, cost index is incorrect. They're giving us 55 when we got 42. I'll put 42 in. There. I'm putting it to 7. Okay. Next up on the hip parade here, we go to the F plan page. Okay, again, starting at the top. Let's do this. I'm going to bring charts in. Let's grow that screen a little bit. That way you get a better feel for it. And I'm going to move this so you can see better. Let's go to plan and set for 20. Alright, there are no departures out of here. Is 5 the best runway? I thought it was 23. Yeah, I did too. I don't know where they got 5. 23 is our best with the wind at 240 at 14, gusting to 21. Oh, now the temperature's 9. Hey, back up. 9. Okay. Alright, so with that in mind, we're going off runway 23. So let's go to KCRW up here, departure. 23. There are no SIDs, no nothing for it, so insert. So we're going to take off, turn for HVQ, or be vectored onto here, however we're told by any approaches or anything. And as you saw, we just aligned. Stand by. Perfect. Wait, I meant to do that. Alright. So that took care of that. We're going to leave this in here. Consider that like a vector, because it takes a little bit to get rid of it. Alright, so next up will be HV. There's our HVQ. Then we're going to SPA. And I am pretty sure Spartanburg VOR. I'm pretty sure of that, but I was getting a little questioning of myself. And then, hang on, one more down. Now we're at LPERD. LPERD, which is the start of our, hang on, we're getting there, folks. Oops, back up. Start of our arrival, which we just changed. Oh, we didn't change it here, that's why. 36 left. Okay. Approach. Long one. New arrival. Here. There we go. Alright, so we're now doing the sniffled Sinfield 3 arrival, whatever SN stands for. So we go to MCO, click arrival. Choose our runway. We have no ILS approach. Again. How about that, folks? ILS 35 left, 35 right, 36 right, and nope, we're doing an RNAV. We go back one more time. Yeah, we're going to be doing an RNAV. Okay, so there's our approach. Well, let's just chalk it up here. RNAV, that's all we got. We can either go Laurel, X-band, or Final. X-band or Final, which would probably be pretty close same, so we'll just do that. And we'll come in, we'll actually probably vector down, then come in and on the approach. Okay, so first off, let's find our star. Okay, so from right to left, or you can read it, we're planning to land with the RNAV for 36 via X-band as our initial on the Sinfield, I don't know what the true name of it is, star LPERD arrival. Insert. Now, let's continue on and look at it. Okay, so there's LPERD. Noom for you, Nick. We can be scrolling up through it. Sunfield, let's see while we're here. Doesn't say if there was ever a name they shortened. Seinfeld? Who knows? GT out. Tugel. Then we're on to Higgs. Voss. Sunday and Kubal. Again, Kubal treat as a vector. We're being vectored to expand to make our run, and I think it is putting us into hold. So, if anything, we'll go direct and ambi and go in there. So, switch charts. Ambi, ERDI. We may not see routine. Oh, we do. And then the runway. Again, missed approach to Dunmore to hold. And then if we have to go to Miami, our arrival, here's most of it. Departure to D-Danny and arrival off D-Annie. All right, so everything looks good. And then put this back to arc, and I'm going to keep it at 20. Okay, next up, we're going to check the nav. Again, you're seeing everything the same way, folks. Okay, just in case we're coming back, there's our ILS. We're all good. I think we would have had to have entered that in Flight Factor. Don't quote me on it, but I think we would have. All right, next up is the init B. This is your init A page, same as Flight Factor. B, just click over to it. Instead of clicking the weight, I don't remember the exact terminology that you would have set on that perf data page. Here, it should be set correctly. So it's one step knocked out. Like I said, it's going to be little things. 123.1. 29.5. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and match this. So it's going to be 123.0 diagonal 29.5. Going to match this. Drop the last two, and because it's right there where you could technically push it up to a 1, I'm going to round down because we have it crossed 0.05, and then the ZFW was wrong. And there, now we're correct. Block fuel 14.9, 14.9. I'm good. Numbers all look good here. Guess what's next, folks? That's right, the perf page. Now, we do have a lot of stuff available for us here. One, you can see it right here on the... Oh, I still have charts in your way. Sorry, folks. What we did is we took, see how 123042, we rounded it, and then there's our fuel, and there's our zero fuel weight CG. Okay, my bad, didn't get charts out of the way in time. Okay, so what we can do here, I can play with takeoff performance, throw scenarios at it, see what I like. I can do the uplink here as well. So we've got some stuff to play with here. And look, they're going to show us on the runway where everything happens. Oh, by the way, it's 6,800 feet long. But that pretty much says toga in my mind, but let's run the scenarios, okay? We'll start here. I've got Sky Vector pulled up and we're 240 at 14. Now there are ways of incorporating your gust in here. I have yet to figure how to do that. So they never really taught me this in flight school. But it's a combination of adding a division. It's really, in my mind, complicated, but I just never took the time, sit down, go through it, and run a couple scenarios up against it. Okay, so temperature 9. We are 2986 and currently clear. Okay, so runway's dry. We will run with probably engine anti-ice and everything else. Okay, let's start with a flex auto air conditioning on. Compute. Look at that, folks. You technically could flex out of here. Would you want to? Potentially what's going to go in the box of 139, 139, because that's what this V1 Max is. Only having 500 feet to get stopped in, which technically is not safe. Now you could, in this run here, or do we go to toga and auto config compute? All right, we still get the flaps 1 toga. Now the minimum is 114 for V1, maximum is 137, giving us at least 1,200 feet to get stopped in. Granted, we lower the V1, we get down the line here. I'm kind of leaning, like I said earlier, to this one. And then, of course, if you really wanted to dig in, air conditioning on, engine things off, and we're really have fun with it. So now I'll go over to uplink. Okay, so 82986 to 9.86, I think is how I have to do it. Yep. Wind 243. Diagonal 14. We're on a dry runway. And at this point, we can go takeoff data request. Receive. Make sure your numbers didn't change. Okay. And again, 137, 137, 141. This is toga, folks. If you were choosing to flex, there you go. And remember, you saw it here, what to expect. We're going max takeoff. Flaps 1 up 0.3, matches everything over here. Green dot is flaps up 209, and so forth. That's a huge difference between flight factor and Toliss, in my opinion. But again, decide. Now, you may be constrained by airline requirements. We flew for one that would constrain you. The NEO for the A320, you would get a rejected flight. Everything rejected on it. However, if that is not constraining you on an airplane, you know, you choose. All right, so, and that, folks, all we got to do now is insert. Now, are you happy with 137? You can lower this. Like you see here, 137 is right up here giving you only 1,200 feet. But I don't know if you can change it here. I don't know if you can any other way. But like, you know, to see what would 135, 130 do for your, you know, V1s. But in the real world, they're going to get it, and they're going to use what they get. Here, you get to be that real world entity they send it off to, who sends it back to them. Via acres. All right, so I'm going to actually go 130. Whoa, 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 whoa. 35. Okay, so we're going to go with 135, 137, 141. So we're going to be right about in here. So I'm giving me about 1,500 feet to get stopped. Hopefully that's enough. Because we're at takeoff speed, folks. Alright, so let me come back to here. And let's finish this up. So, it is time to push back, folks. And of course, we didn't do it yesterday. We're not doing it today. You would then go in, do your secondary flight plans if you want, using this one. I'm not doing that, okay? That's the one level of realism I'm not doing here. Alright, so my altimeters we said now are 86. If you're in doubt, always look at what you just typed in. I am in doubt. I'm looking it up. 2986. Alright. Let me put charts here and stand by. Okay, I got charts like I did yesterday. There we go. Alright, so we're just about ready to go here, folks. Just bring it up here to the middle. Alright, final checks. Altimeters, 2986. That's this bottom box if you're able to read it. I don't think you are. Okay, I'm going to kind of adjust it here in spot. Okay, I think I got it now. Alright, sorry for that delay, folks. Alright, so here we go. Altimeters are set. Flights, FCU flight directors are on LS constraints. LS constraint. Speed, dash, dot, managed, dash, dot, that one's managed. And altitude, believe we go straight on up to altitude. Okay. And with the dot means managed. So whatever the system needs to reach, will do. Put this one on flight plan. Alright. Altitude set, anti-skid nose wheel on. Switching panel, 12 o'clock. Transponder is set still on X-bounder. Let's go norm. C. We are all. Okay. And folks, we are ready to go. I just need to start my 8 cars program. Bear with me. Smart Cars 3 is real quick to get going. All right, and we are on the map. All right, that's all I needed to check. Finally, we just need to clean up the aircraft. So you can do it again one of two ways. Come down here. External power's off already. Got our fuel. Close, close, close. Or go to auto. And they're going to immediately close. We'll wait on them. Actually, we'll watch from outside as they start pulling away. And to me, I again love that level of detail. You're going to find me kind of liking this more than Flight Factor, but again, I like them. One out of necessity, but the other I just like. I like flying them both, folks. Okay, all the doors are closed on the right side. Now let's close up the cabin door. Auto. All right, doors closed. Okay. Good. Ooh, maybe let's get this one. There we go. And let's go ahead and kick the beacon on, which we have. And let's call better pushback. Maybe it won't come off the roof like it has once here in the last couple of days.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
At Mickey World, can you accommodate?
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Okay, beacon's on. Jetway's being pulled. Go, Speed Racer. Go, Speed Racer. Now I get rid of the chocks. Make sure the parking brake is set. Otherwise, you won't push back.
All right. Looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
When he says that, I do a double check. Chocks are indeed gone. Doors are indeed closed. All right, I'll put a request out there right now, folks. If you all know where a good working 220, Airbus 220, 100, 200, 300, let me know. I've downloaded a couple and they have not impressed me at all. One didn't even load up in my aircraft manual, or my aircraft menu. So yeah, if you can find me
Welcome
an
aboard,
A220,
Captain.
I would love to look into this plane.
Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
So let me know, because this flight's technically flown by an Airbus 220, not 320. But anyway, that aside, also, if you're new to the channel, love for you to smash that follow. My name is Captain Mike. I am not a real-world airline captain, but I am a captain in public safety, so I am legally able to use the word captain. I am an airport firefighter. I work at an airport here in the St. Louis area, not the main airport, but at one of the others. And I really want to welcome you in. Hope you all have a great day. I do have a private pilot's license, albeit needs to be, I need to get flying with an instructor and all, because it was 1986 when my last flight was. 85, my bad. Back it up. I know, what's a year when you're that far out? But in total, total transparency, it was actually 1985. So, all right. So, just because you see me doing things, folks, does not mean this is the real airline policies. I really don't know the airline policies. So, but I want to welcome you in, and I hope you all follow the channel here. If you're on the YouTube side of the house, hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to be a part of the family of Flying with Mike. So, thank you for being a part. And with that, let's get that parking brake off.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
And let's get pushed a little bit before we, as he said, light them up. All right. Just like yesterday, we're not going to be too complicated. First thing I'm going to do is make sure the bleed is on. That was not a flight factor problem. That was this loose nut behind the stick problem. Okay, get the switch to ignition. You can see this I like. Now I know I have my 40 pounds. Start engine 1 today. See if it's going to make us have to warm them up. Doesn't look like it's doing its thing. Okay, with the words available, we can start looking into cranking up number 2 here. Let's let it get straightened out.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
Brake set.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
And we got a veil on number 2. Let's start the clock. 3 minutes.
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
And thanks for flying with Mike there. Better push back. We'll wait for the pin and then we'll continue on. Hey, there's the pins. Alright, and then I'll go up here, flash some lights at him that I see it, because he may or may not see us in the cockpit. Alright, let's do it. Alright, APU bleed. While we were up there, we could have got it. Off. Down to the bottom here. Spoilers arm, flaps 1. Go to FTCL. Same thing we did yesterday, except it's a little easier in this plane to set your trim. Trim is up 03. Okay, again, it's right here. You're just going to make it say that. Up, there's up, 0.3. Then I also do, just like I did in the other, my checks to make sure the ailerons are working, the rudder, I also always make sure they center, and the elevator. Okay, everything looks good to me there, and we'll deselect. Alright, continuing on. Engine and wing anti-ice we will not need. APU can be turned off. And now we'll get those slides armed. So we'll go to ATT, click it, and all it does is make sure your doors are closed, and that's pretty much it. Okay, nose wheel light and parking brake elapsed time turned on. For just about 3 minutes. Brakes, flight controls, auto brake to max. And takeoff config. Let's see what we have left. Now I told you, it's a little different between flight factor, getting your cabin status, and your Toliss cabin status. There you got to go to the EFB and flight factor here. Come up here. And hang on just a second, folks. All right, folks, we're going to start our taxi. See if we're doing a little better than yesterday. We're about the same amount of time, so I feel good that we spent as much time with this one as we did the other. Do our takeoff checks. Engine 2 low, so we'll delay our takeoff. We'll see how that goes when we get to the end of the runway. We're not far off, so you don't get this, I don't think, in flight factor. And by the way, there are circuit breakers you can pull on this, all of that good stuff that you can't do in flight factor that I'm aware of. quite honestly, I think the reason you can't in flight factor, they have been pushed by the customers to get the Boeing 777 up and going, that I think some of their legacy products like the 76, the A320 have suffered from their focus, which, hey, they can focus on what they want. It is for them to do. I'm not sitting here criticizing. It's just a shame the forcefulness some in the flight sim community believe they have to have their plane now. Shame on them. They shouldn't even be thankful you have what you have sometimes, folks. Weather radar, we'll get that in a minute because we're coming up to one thing that did not get fixed. Hang on, I'm going to go ahead and snap the brakes on for a second. Actually, I can leave it. Let's get that weather radar on. Okay, here's one thing I did not like, still do not like with the scenery here, is this big monstrosity of a hill. I don't know how true to form this is in Charleston. I know it is built on a hill. That I do know for sure, folks. And I do know it is a displaced localizer, because there's your localizer array. But I don't know if the runway physically looks like it does here. I just get a feeling it doesn't. I mean, look at it. It's showing it in a turn already. By the way, and again, this could be the way the airport is. But those that saw the inbound flight 3 or 4 months ago into here with this aircraft, might have been earlier, notice anything? Not there. That we will say is compliments Toliss of X-Plane 12.0.9. Release candidate 2 when we saw it, but release candidate 3 and 4 improved. So now that hill and all could still be a problem, hence the displacement. But overall, folks, it looks much improved. All right, we're going to hold up here, do our checks, and then get ready to roll. All right, transponder TARA. Now, a lot of times you would have done this while taxiing. I just decided to do it here. Brake temperatures look good, so we're not going to run the fans. Engine to normal. And turn off lights, landing lights, set and ready to go. Took us 8 minutes to get down here, folks, after engine start. And I clear this timer because I use it for takeoff. Parking brake off. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet, folks. Unless you've been on my Discord channel, then you have. All set. Okay, I don't think we're connected. Doggone it, we're gonna do it in flight. Yep. Dang it, I forgot to connect. Sorry, folks. We'll do it in flight. Gonna give it a little bit of... We're just gonna roll. Rolling takeoff, folks. Okay. Toga. See what I mean? Look at this slope. I think this is unrealistic, but I can't prove it. I don't know what that did to our numbers. Okay, gear up. All right. All right, we're direct and turning on course. All right, let's just see how she works her way through this. Now we're going to get online. My bad again. Okay, flaps are up. Spoilers disarmed. And brakes are off. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. Okay, we're good. Turning on. The reason the barometric pressure is flashing, folks, I think I missed it being set at 5,000 instead of 18 for transition. I usually don't look at it, and I'm going to have to go in and make sure it's defaulted to 18,000. All right, give me a second. We'll be online here in a minute. There we go. My apology again, folks. That's on me. All right, so we're on our way. Beautiful day out of Charleston. Mark it, folks. You don't see this often here. And we're on our way. Let me get rid of that and do that. All right, and there we go. What I did is I did leave the frequencies on for the VORs just far enough out for that. Matter of fact, you know what? We're just about transition. Let's go ahead and just get rid of that charts. And on we go, folks. I hope you enjoyed. A little look at the flight factor we saw yesterday, and today we're looking at the Toliss A320. Each we had our own little flub ups, but overall they were good, good startups, letting you see all the different things they offer. And I'm sure, folks, those of you into failures and all of that can really dig in. Toliss, I think more so than flight factor, but again, I don't dig into because I don't have the quick reaction checklists or FCOMs to get in there and say, oh, we lost this, how do we fix that? So, here she comes. Oh, we still got lights to turn off. Oh, I didn't mention that in the pre-brief. I will. Once we get them back from break, we'll mention away. But again, thank you for those who do subscribe to the channel. We sure appreciate you. Sure appreciate you coming along, helping us out. I am still looking at a new either an add-on or aircraft for the stream, being weather or aircraft. So I just haven't found what I'm looking for yet. All right. And it looks like we're coming out of break here. One piece of information I left out in the pre-brief. And you'll figure it out as soon as I do this. Look at that crab. Okay, yeah, the wing lights can stay on a little longer. Bear with me. We're going to go ahead and make sure our radars are on. And they are. Transponder. Over here, we'll put the terrain on. All right. We have a headwind. I bet you would never guess that. Let's bring Sim Toolkit in while we climb here. Sim brief. Bring up our flight. Wind component, minus 57. Here it is, folks. As of the generation at 1509 Zulu, 248 degrees at 128 knots. Up at flight level 380. I'm really going to be curious what we end up at. But there you got our airtime right under 1 hour 50 minutes. And so forth. So yeah, we have a really brisk wind up here. All right, so we're on our way. We're approaching top of descent in about 40-ish miles. We're about an hour and a half out of Mickey World, and hope you enjoy the flight, folks. Thanks for flying with Mike today. We sure appreciate you. All right, so we're through 30,000 feet, folks. We're going to let the music take us on here. We go ahead and get the wing lights turned off as we head down to Mickey World. And Glenn, thank you so much for being a part of Flying with Mike. It's always a pleasure to fly with you. And we're going to probably be back with you here in about 20 minutes or so for sure. We'll be talking about this arrival on the Sinfield 3 arrival for 3-6 left. So, again, we're going from Charleston Yeager International Airport to Orlando, Mickey World, as I like to call it. We'll see you in about 20 minutes. All right, folks, back with you. Got that chore done real quick. New tags had to be put on the family truckster. All right, let's see where we're going here. We're about an hour and 4 minutes out over Spartanburg, South Carolina, and an hour and 4 minutes to Mickey World. Currently, I'm not showing anything, even though I do know things are up down there. See just how bad it is. Oh, it's regulated to Sanford. Wow. Got a United 737 gonna go from yeah, sure, I'll buy that one. Yeah, to Tokyo, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. Those more, but to Tokyo, don't think so, folks. But it was a nice try. Oh, I know what happened here, folks. Stand by. Let's try this again. MXY. I'm trying to figure out why I can't find myself out here. Wrong call sign. Now, let's see if I show up better. I was showing up with my call sign from yesterday. That's why I couldn't find myself on Similware. Oh, those wacky nuts behind the wheel. All right, we are pushing in. We're about an hour out, folks. So I keep forgetting it doesn't do that automatically. It's not the first time, won't be the last time, so... All right, you'll find me out there now, MXY217, just off the Spartanburg VOR. Oh, you gotta love it, folks. Ah, Spartanburg is a step climb. Forgot about that. Let's see, it probably already said deleted. Yep. We're going to go ahead up step now. don't know if I have to do this. Let's see. All right, heading up to our new cruise. All right, we're in a quick climb mode, and then we'll be back into cruise. All right, so folks, I hope you enjoy the ride to Mickey World. Just about an hour out now, 56 minutes it's showing. We're at the current cruise altitude. And let's start looking into doing our arrival brief. Let me pause the music there because we'll get a little bit of an opening going into Mickey World. Orlando, for those that don't know it that way. All right, so for that, I'm going to bring in charts. And we'll get with the rest of the program here in a minute, speeds and all of that. But let's at least figure out what are we doing in arrival-wise. And for that, I am going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So you can see where we are. Here's what we're going to be shooting. And let's get up here to the top. You're going to see D-ATIS 111 or 121.25. The airport, you got to go down here to the graphic to find it, 96 feet, because you also can do executive, Kissimmee, and I believe Sanford falls under this one. So you got all, oh no, Sanford doesn't because there's no altitude. So, all right, so if they have altitudes, that's who they cover. You got to have radar, you got to be a jet, you got to be landing north with the 3.5s or the 3.6s. If you're going to use south, you got to go to the Geet out. And runway assignment comes from approach. All right, so here is the quick instructions from Sinfield. Sinfield being here, working down. So you got to get there via LPERD, Noom, sorry, for you and Nick, and you and then Sinfield, then G-Tout, which is the other arrival. And your related altitudes. We'll get back to that. All right, so it's Sinfield, then 168 to G-Tout, be between 12,000 and 16,000, 280 knots. Then 180 knots to Tuggle. Higgs. Tuggle is, or Higgs will be between 10 and 12,000 at 250 knots. Then on 199 to Voss, at or above 8,000 and 230 knots. Then to Sunday at or above 6, 186 to Kubel, be at 5,000, slowed to 210. Then from there, expect vectors onto the final. Okay, we can read all of this if we want, but we aren't seeing what they're saying. So let's start from the top, work our way down. LPERD, between 34 and 30. Gonna have to probably set 30. Newman, 23. For you, 13. Nick, above 12. Then we got into it. There's G-Tout at 280. 16 to 12. So being above 12 works out. Just so long as we get under 16 here. And as long as we're at 12, we're okay at Higgs, but we should be descending at 250 knots. Voss at 230 knots above 8,000 Sunday, above 6,000 in Kubel, slowed to 210 at 5,000 feet. then we get turned into and we'll be on these runways over here. Unless, of course, they say, you're going to the 3.5s, like they did yesterday to us. All right, so maybe I ought to be prepared for those just in case. Weather in the Orlando area as of 38 minutes ago, so it obviously is subject to change. Winds 050 at 6, 10 miles of visibility. Few cloud or scattered layer at 9,500. Ceiling is set at 14,000 with this broken layer, and yet another broken layer at 25,000. 17 degrees, which, by the way, will translate out to a nice, comfortable 63 degrees down there. So really, a great Florida day. Okay, we are planning the RNAV to 3.6 left. Not to say that's what we're going to end up on. As you saw yesterday, we ended up on a totally different runway, total visual, total everything. So, and the reasons we would want the 3.6s is we're parking on that half of the field, just a longer taxi if we come in on these, and more than likely it would be this one. 3.5 right. All right, so for our arrival, and some could say they were watching Flying with Mike just to play with us. All right, so the briefing strip at the top, there again are our frequencies to expect. Being an RNAV approach, we don't have a localizer. However, we do have a final approach course, 005. Birdie, give you an idea where that is, right here on the approach. Down here, you'll get the mileage, 4.6 out. We need to be at 1,600 feet on glide path. LPV, again, I didn't see it yesterday, but then again, we didn't get to that runway, so that's why we didn't get to see it. Missed approach, we'll climb to Denmore. Via climb to 500, then in a left turn, climbing to 3,000, direct and hold. I will verify this time. So anyway, here's some other directives for this runway. LNAV procedure not authorized with simultaneous operations. Flight director autopilot required during simultaneous. So if we got aircraft landing dual, I think they're talking 3.6 left, 3.6 right, but they may be talking 3.5 right too. We got to make sure flight director and autopilots are available. The visual glide slope indication versus the RNAV glide path may not be the same. So we'll go, if we see the PAPIs, we go with the PAPIs. Okay, we are planned to come down, make our turn at Cuban to X-band, Ambi, Birdie, routine, and land on 3.6 left. We'll see. We'll see. X-band's at 4,000, Ambi is at 3,000, Birdie is 1,600, and on glide path, if we even see a glide path. Finally, at the bottom here, we're getting our ground speed will probably be in the 130 point. Again, we're looking at about a 705, 710 foot landing speed or feet per minute. And then for this LPV, we're looking at minimums 293 above sea level. That's the bold, or known as mean sea level. In the parentheses is above ground level, folks. It's identical. There's no difference. The only reason there are delineated is one is actually above the ground. The other is wherever sea level is in relation to your airport. Sea level here being 30, I think it's 36 or 96, one of the two. You can find that right up here, folks. 96 feet above sea level, touchdowns 93 above. Okay, see the correlation. Now we also need 3/4 of a mile of visibility and an RVR of 40 or higher. So if we have anything less than that, we're going to have to go to a different runway approach, because we're going to need probably the Cat 2 or Cat 3 arrival. LNAV, VNAV goes up a little bit. We're coming in visual, so, or if we're allowed, we'll be doing the RNAV, LPV. But you see how it goes up. We're getting closer to a mile needed, 45 on the RVR. By the way, yeah, there are no stipulations down here like in Charlotte. So what you see is what you got to do. Once we land, my goal is get off at Juliet, cross them both, unless they tell me I got to come down Zulu. But I plan to cross them both, come down Charlie, and exit at Echo onto Echo, and then Echo 3 to go around the back. If they throw us over here, it's a whole different taxi, whole different everything. So we'll kind of hopefully get this as we get in a little quicker than we did yesterday. All right, and there again, you see where we are. Got a, well, down here, we're about 296 miles out. Gonna go ahead and set this back to where we had it. Okay, and we'll get rid of it for now. All right, now we want to talk about speeds. A little bit more we can do in this plane than we can flight factor. Remember, we could play here, get all of our interesting scenarios ran, and figure out what we want on our end. Otherwise, we take what dispatch gives us. Okay, so we're going to land. So we now get a METAR. I don't know why we don't get one for takeoff. It just kind of scratches my head all the time on that one. But Orlando currently is a 1753. So this is what I just saw. 05086, 10 miles, 9,500 foot scattered, 14,000 ceiling, broken, 17 and 3010. They're already filled in for you, folks. Just checking the, just to make sure a shower didn't come through. Nope, it did not. Okay. All right, so we're going to run on a dry runway, anti-ice off. Secondary check here, we're looking at a landing weight of 129.5. This is probably our current weight. All right, so that's what we're probably looking at. We'll land full flaps, air conditioning on, and right now, let's just leave it as is. Landing 36 left, compute. And look what we have with low brakes. I think we might go with low brakes. Folks, we have a 12,000 foot runway. So if we do everything right, we're going to need 4,000 feet to land. Remaining 5,800 feet. Folks, that is not, I mean, that's pretty good. Now, if we end up switching runways, we can actually come in here and make that change. But we'll also have to probably make it in the McDo as well. So that will be something different unless I see the airport. If that's the case, then we'll do our thing. So currently we're looking at an approach speed of 130. Again, that'll put us right at about 705, 710 feet per minute for our descent to be on that 3-degree glide slope. Clear as mud, I'm sure. But again, you get a little bit more to help you out here. All you got with flight factor was you come here when you're getting close to descent. 80 miles is usually where you'd go to this page, fill it out, it tells you, and you go on. So again, not trying to play up any specific one or play it down. It's what you get. Now, a couple of other things you get while we're en route, and I've got the music on hold. Let's go to ATC Com. No, McDo menu, and then go to ATSU. AOC menu. Remember that little thing, ATIS? Okay, so the ATIS is not available, so we can't do anything with it. However, we can go here, click here, run for the METAR, run back, received messages, oops, and voila, current METAR. You would have gotten the ATIS if it was out there for it, or it may be something not working right now. But there you have it. You can print it if it didn't already. A lot of times it does. No, it didn't. Good. The 319, it ends up all the time printing for me. And then you'd have it to put here, but I don't know how to restore it. So, and then all you do is wherever you want to go, flight plan. And there you go, folks. That's also something you don't have. Now, we talked about it. You can go here, connect if there's an ATC out here, and then you would be using these to talk to ATC with this unit as well, as I understand. I got connected once to an ATC controller who didn't use it for me. So to me, if it has it, great. If it doesn't, just as great, because most of the controllers don't use it. And there you go, folks. A little bit more of the differences between the two aside from the obvious stuff like this is a Neo with bigger engines. This has, you know, the what I would call the eye candy stuff. But once you get past the engines, they're the same aircraft. Just some little differences here and there until you start really digging in under the hood. Then you find some big differences. So if you're not VA strapped, you know, you may want to look at this bird. You are VA strapped and got to fly with the CO, what they call CEO engines, the old engines, I like to call them. Then you got to, you know, flight factor's your option. Both can be, you just don't fly VA. But this is a really good platform. Flight factor is also a really good platform. So just depends how real you want things. I like the animation here. I think it takes what they've done with the animation, other than just the truck pull in and the truck leave and this and that. What they've taken it that extra little step, the levelers going down, the box going up, the handles going out, folks, that takes it to another level. So you decide what you feel you need, but overall they work the same, they fly the same. Just like I said, you're looking at a bigger engine out here. So, all right, and we'll see more as we come in on the landing. But for now, let's get back. We have 130 miles top of descent, which equates out to 37 minutes. And we'll get a song or two in. And we do need to check our McDo. LPERD. All right, we do have to make a change. Remember, let me pull our chart in, and it's going to be resized, so bear with me. Let's go ahead and back to size. All right, so take a look towards the top, folks. You'll see LPERD. LPERD requires us, sorry about that, requires 34 to 30. I'm going to put our altitude constraint at 30. Okay, add that, insert. Now it's going to set our descent. Go put this one on perf to all of a sudden 83 miles, because you know what? It was set at 39, but we got to be below 34. The next one, we got to be above 23. At 26 for you, above 13, and then above 12. Okay, we'll be above 12, send field above 12, and then at G-tout, 12,000 feet. Okay, so there we go, folks. That'll work. All right, well, we're not going to get the music running. All right, from here, let's go 2 pages over. And let's do it this way. Just making sure our guitar has not updated. It's getting ready to, so we may have to come in adjust. All right, so the QNH is 3010. Have to type it 30.10 if you're going to use inches. If you're in the US, that's what you'd have to do. If you're in Europe, use the QNH they have, which is 4 digits. In this case, it would be 1019. All right, our temperature is 17. Our winds 050 at 6. Diagonal 6. Okay, so we have this program. Like I said, this is about to update. So still hasn't updated. All right, let's go back to our chart. Minimums 293. Okay, so Barrow, think of that as your ASL above sea level. So it would show up here at 293. However, when it would read 293, it would say 200 above ground on your radar altimeter. So you make the call. Most airlines want you on the barometer. So 293. At least that's what someone told me. If it's not true, hey, feel free to call me out, folks. And you're programmed now. 62 miles out. Top of descent is right there. And I don't see centers or anybody up. So all a good. All right. So what I'm going to do is pull charts. Sized. And folks, we're ready to go. I'm bringing that in so I have a quick look to see what's up and then grab frequencies and get them readied. Just gonna do a gander down here. I think we have any. They were. I think they've got whoever they were supporting taken care of. And I mean it that way, folks. Not to be cruel, but yeah, it happens quite a bit on here. As soon as their bunch gets out, they drop without telling you, which I think should be just as much harped on as other violations out here. And folks, before the top of descent, I'm going to take a quick break, get some coffee, so I can get in here for the landing. Be right back. Hawker 125, welcome aboard. Thanks, and no problem with the lurk. And everybody else, welcome back as well as your host. Had to get some coffee. Again, hope y'all are having a great Thursday. Many like to call Friday Eve. So hope y'all enjoy. Thank you for being a part of Flying with Mike. If you have not done so already, we would love for you to smash that follow button and follow us on our next adventures. Not really gonna schedule anything for the weekend. We may have some plans, and so I may not be able to do much, but watch for us on Tuesday. We'll have something set up. Head over to our Discord channel. I'll have that schedule information up here shortly as I figure out what I would like to showcase next week. But yeah, we would love for you to smash that follow button and be a part of the Flying with Mike. If you're watching us from YouTube, you would like to see the live broadcast, hey, folks, down at the bottom, you'll see a link to Twitch. Click on it, then right when you get to the Twitch page, click About, and you'll see the flight schedule. Join us. Love to have you part of it. And then, hey, follow us here too. XCH3CHU. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. We appreciate you. Welcome to Flying with Mike's family. All right, folks. Also, just a quick let you know a little about me. I am a captain on a public safety team at an airport here in St. Louis, not the big one that you all would know, Lambert, one of the others. And I also do have a private pilot's license, although my last flight, not to date myself, but I'm going to 1985. So I try to fly real and fail miserably a lot of times. So, oh, I paused it too early. So just want to give you a little rundown of myself again. Hope you all enjoy, and we'll do the best to bring it in as best I can. Folks, it's a little bigger than a Piper Warrior, Arrow, or Cessna. Not much, but a little. Hang on, let's pause for a second here because top of descent is right upon us. We got a checklist to run. All right, so we've got our landing altitude. Hang on. In auto, we have McDo arrival set up. We have our performance set up. All we got to do is our takeoff winds, our top of descent winds. Here's how I do that. I'll go to data, function, request them. Get my uplink, and we are now set. Now we need to set our altitude. We know our first one is 30. And being within 9 miles, let's start. We'll start in a managed format, and then if we're not seeing it hitting our number, guess what? Transition to an open descent. What open means is you control it. Right now, I think we're going to hit 30,000 at that point. We'll kind of see for that green dot. We should be in a managed descent. And just so you see, here's where we're aiming for. There we go. We're just slightly off the green dots, getting ready to come down here on our altitude tape as we head for 30,000. But as long as we're between 34 and 30, we're okay over LPERD. Real guys are going, wish we could do that, pop out our screens. We just have to yank our sticks out and throw them out the window.
7 Delta Juliet, taking from 09, taking the pattern.
So, and we are progressing in. So we'll just work our way down as we go. So let me get some music going a little longer. Probably Senfield will kill the music completely between there and G-tout, and then go more of a sterilized cockpit. All right, final up here. How we doing on this descent? Looking good. Altimeters, well, once we get to 18,000. Oh, I didn't check that. Hang on. 4. Next. Transition flight level 18,000. Okay.
Orlando traffic, November 77, Delta Juliet. It's on downwind. The left traffic from runway 09 left. Orlando traffic.
Anybody see something wrong with that transmission? Orlando does not have a runway 9, so it's a different airport. Proof in the pudding. I was really hoping to be wrong. He was either at Executive or Sanford.
Orlando traffic, November 77, Delta Juliet, making turning left base from 806 left.
My guess would be Executive, but don't know. Because we were 9, now we're 26, so I don't know what runway he's on. So if you're going to be on there, at least give us the airport you're at. So anyway, we're continuing down at a nice pace. Probably around 25,000, I'll kick on the seatbelt sign, get the flight attendants about getting the cabin ready for arrival, and the wing lights on. And let's get some more stuff set up here. Again, we really can't until we pass the 18,000 foot mark. So we'll just continue in, folks. Enjoy the music, enjoy the ride. Let's take a look outside one of the wing seats. Actually, it's not one of the wing. If it was, the first step would be a doozy, because there's no wing under you for the exit. All right, below us, we're going, well, we're out over the ocean, but off the other wing, we would see Jacksonville on a clear day. It's cloudy. You'll see parts of it, but not much. There's what happened. All right, let's go ahead and kill the music there. You can kind of see the coastline here, Jacksonville, Daytona Beach area, as we're cruising into Mickey World way up there.
Orlando traffic, November 77 Delta Juliet is cross wind runway 09 left.
09 and 26 do not add up, dude. All right. Okay, so like I said, let's get up top here. Seatbelts on. Wing lights on. See where we are in the descent. We're at 24,000. We're going to hold at 23, I think is what we're set up for. Yeah, no lower than 23,000. Then we'll start for no lower than 13,000. So again, glad you all are aboard.
Orlando traffic, November 77 Delta Juliet is on downwind runway 09 left. November 77 Delta Juliet.
All right, well, this is part of the problem with VATSIM. Anyway, glad you're here, folks. Hope you enjoy. Sometimes at this point, when I start hearing of this, I just disconnect. I don't want to hear it anymore. But we're going to keep pressing on. As a coworker at a job I had once before said, suck it up, buttercup. So that's what we're going to do. And endure somebody having to chit-chat on the Unicom. So, but again, back to where we were. Thank you for being a part of Flying with Mike, and thank you for joining us. Again, if you're on the YouTube channel and you would like to watch us live, come over to Twitch. There's we're there. That's where we do these live. All right, so we've leveled off at 23 with 5 to go to get to Noman. And then we start our descent to 12,000, or is it 13? 13 at 4U.
Orlando traffic, November 77 Delta Juliet, turning left base, runway 09 left.
Alrighty, folks. Now we'll set up for being above 13,000 as all right, folks. Didn't want to sneeze in your ears there. And thank you. All right, now you can see we're set.
Orlando traffic, November 77 Delta Juliet on final, 09 right. Touch and go.
Higgs. And we're going to go ahead and steepen a little bit. How many miles we got? 19. We'll plan to be there at Sinfield because that'll still be above 12 and a GTOUT still in between the range. And we need to be at 280 knots, so let's go ahead, smack that in. All right, and here we go, folks. We got a little bit of ways. Let's get another song in. All right, current weather, 22 minutes ago. Okay, we're going to update the McDo here. So we'll go next phase. Currently 30:08. Temperature, that's 2 points. Stand by. 18.
Orlando traffic, November
10.
77 Delta Juliet, turning cross runway 09 left.
And our minimums don't change. However, our approach did. We're now down to 129. Planning a 124 landing. We just crossed 18,000, so let's do this. Need to come up to 30:08. All right, and we are now up to date, folks.
Orlando traffic turning downwind. Orlando traffic, November 77 Delta Juliet turning downwind, runway 09 left.
All right, we're coming in, just crossed over, we're now headed to Sinfield, and I'm going to go ahead and set for, is this the one we go to 12? Yeah, we'll set up for 12. Okay, and again, it's at 280, which we're at, and we're descending in nicely. You can see the green dots starting to come down, saying we're on profile. After G-tout,
November 77 Delta Juliet turning left base from a 09 left, full stop. Turning. Orlando traffic, November 77 Delta Juliet is extending downwind.
yeah, we'll go ahead and let another one run. Okay, let's go ahead, turn down our range. I'll be honest, folks, I really don't know where he's flying. He's not showing up on VATSIM.
Orlando traffic, November 77 Delta Juliet is final runway 09 left, full stop.
All right, so here we go over Stout. Now let's see what our next interim is. All right, we're going to go ahead and start it down. Higgs will be at 250. And we'll hit the speed brakes. This is the only time I will not fly at the speed indicated. Virtual airlines sometimes will gig if they're on a point system for being above 250 below 10,000. So that's why we'll set to 240 to give us a cushion. But from then on, then I'll be at the ats. Okay, we're at 240. Let me pull the speed brake off.
Orlando traffic, November 77 Delta Juliet, clear of 09 left.
All right, let me go ahead and kill the music here, folks. Okay, let's get us set up. 10,000 feet's coming. Here comes 10,000 at Higgs. All right, now we work 8,000 if we cross Higgs before level. Again, thank you for being a part of Flying with Mike. It's always a pleasure to fly for you. We are on VATSIM approaching Orlando International. Okay, down to 8. Actually,
Orlando traffic, clear winds, 1568 short final, 35 right, Orlando.
all right, so we're coming down to Voss and then 6,000. All right, we are in range, LS refreshed, and 3-6 left, cool. Same thing over here, refreshed, okay. All set up here. Let's see if my speed brake was retracted, it was. And we're in another layer of clouds. Go figure. Is that reported? Few clouds of 4,000,
Orlando
9,000.
traffic, clear winds, 1568, vacated runway 35 right, taxi into airside 4, gate 80.
All right, so here we go, folks. Coming over Voss. We'll set for 6,000. And I've set it for 5. Okay, so we are in our final descent here, folks. Then we'll be setting up for our arrival. Interesting enough, no rain reported, but yet here it is raining again. Really hope X-Plane 12 does something with this. And I have the airfield in sight. Just realize we'll be landing on the runways over here, the far outer one. So if we were told to go visual, which I will not accept right now, we will head for it. If we do get better visibilities, then I'll turn for it visually for 3-6 left. Okay, a few clouds at 4,000. As of 34 minutes ago, reported here, scattered at 9,000. Think it's depicted wrong, but they'll have to work on that. I think we have more of a broken to overcast at 5,000. How come we went past? Oh, that's right. We're going for Kubel. Just me, though. I could be wrong, like I said, folks. Won't be the first. Won't be the last.
Orlando traffic, share wings, 1558 crossing runway 35 left, Orlando.
All right, we're leveling off. Let's get set up here. All right, so we're at 240. We need to be at 210.
Orlando traffic, runway 35 left clear.
All right, I'm going to switch over charts now to the RNAV. Let's go Ambi at 3,000, so we'll set that. Okay, speed brakes armed. And we said low on the brakes. I'm going to put direct ambi in here. And we're going to see how this works out. Now, right now, I'm seeing a glide slope. We'll see how that plays out on this LPV. All right, folks, back with you. Sorry about that. Had sun blasting my eyes out. Alright, let's go to 160. Flaps 2. I'm really curious if, because right now it looks like we'll get the lock-in for both. Okay, we're gonna go visual. As soon as we get everything set, Orlando traffic, Moxie 217, final 36 left. Flaps full. Cabin check. We're ready for landing. And it's not even reporting rain. Go figure that one, folks. Alright, let me get back up here on glide path. Final approach. Moxie 217, 3-mile final, 36 left. Orlando. Flaps full, brake set.
500. 400. 100 above. 300.
Be a long landing.
Minimum 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Okay, idle reverse, here we go. Orlando traffic, Moxie 217's off 36 left to airside 4. A correction, airside 3. That's all you're going to hear out of me, folks, on VATSIM. That's all you need to hear. Nobody said anything about 36 right, so we're crossing. Alright, did not mean to hang down on that one that long. Off, 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 and off. Start. Terrain radar off. Well, it's saying the spoilers are armed. I'm not sure why. Oh, still in reverse. That's why we're not getting any forward motion, folks. Okay, go ahead and kick over the APU now. Final checks of what I've missed. Ground spoilers, engine mode. Flaps are up, APU's on, terrain radars off, brake temperatures appear good. I don't see anything. Well, we should go ahead and hit the fan. The brakes are running. Okay, now the red's off, so hopefully they're cooling. Let's see, and then we've got parking. Alright, so we are going to taxi down Charlie. We're going to turn on Echo and then turn in on Echo 3. Ultimately, though, what they call air sides, this is what we're going to end up in, just kind of way over here in the corner. The main terminal, if you will, is in the middle. Monorails go out to each of these to get you out to your planes. Go figure. Where have they got the idea of monorails from? All right, folks. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our parking chart here. Again, we're headed here. I thought I saved this. What I get for thinking. This is our ultimate gate. So we'll come in off Echo, Echo 3, swing around the back to the last gate. And the brakes look nicely cooled as we hit Echo. And then this is the cross taxiways, Echo and Fox, between the 3.6s and the 3.5s. And as you can see, it looks like Mickey World Airport is growing. Another airside coming. Interesting how the monorail will reach it, if indeed it will have a monorail. Or it'll go under, or over. Well, it won't go over, but it'll go under. And of course, at all times, folks, watch for alligators. Anyway, like I said, we're headed back in here. All right. And then just so you get again the glimpse of where we're headed, 30 is our gate. All right, I'm going to go ahead and kill the landing light. Wing lights off, okay. Again, folks, welcome into Orlando. Brakes are set. Clear this. And this. All right, so let's go through the shutdown checklist, shall we? APU's running. Brake pressures are in the green. Anti-ice is off. APU bleed. Let's get that bleed running. Seatbelts off. And engine 1, engine 2 masters off. Last check, all lights, beacons off. Everything's off up here. And nose wheel beacon, seatbelts elapsed time. And we are good, folks. McDo's brake fans, unless we need them, are off. Everything should be in auto, so we'll let you kind of keep an eye on that gauge down there. There goes the first truck in. From the outside, you can see it. See, he's in there and setting up. Next will be here, which will get the jetway coming. Can't remember. Did I just cancel it? I did. And finally, the other one will come in. All right, let me see here. 47 feet a minute, Mac Air has us at, and it has been, let me check, turn that off. Mac Air, you're here. Just want to make sure it's pending. And you know, I didn't really talk much about them, but if folks you're looking for airline to fly for, they're not strict at all. They're, I mean, they have aircraft for just about anyone out there. From well, in the open division, you fly pretty much anything from your puddle jumpers up to your heavies, in between whatever points, and the liveries are wherever you want pretty much. They have some, but you don't have to fly in them. Most of us try to find them, but you don't have to. They also have a charter division. If you can't find the flight you want, make it, but you got to join the division first. You have to join the historical if you want to fly 727s, 397s, old 707s, the older historical aircraft. They have that too if you have them, as well as cargo. Now, if you're up to a flavor of professional, which I might look into, I'm going to look a little bit harder into it. I haven't joined it yet, but I would like to improve my instrument flying. They have that division too, where you go with instructors and, you know, you dig in deeper into the flight simming world. Instead of just auto landing and GPS flying, you can then get into fine tuning and getting it, you know, where you're flying it. So anyway, check them out. If you haven't yet, it's there at the bottom, exclamation mark. I'll get it out right yet. Mac Air. If not, hey, if you're lazy, here's the link for you in the chat room. All right, the flight is pending. We're going to review here real quick. Everything's unloading. Sim Toolkit 172 and has put the flight in here already. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and first disconnect so they don't interrupt us. All right, so click on the flight. Here's your flight that we just flew, coming out of Yeager, which was Charleston, West Virginia, down here to Mickey World. Now, here's the quick snapshot. 2 hours in flight, 597 miles, and we burned about 3.7 metric tons or 3,700 kilograms of fuel. Landed at 172 feet a minute. Now, we were slow, and 1.6. Now, right here, you're starting to get some information to learn from. So you need to learn to keep that power on. Airbus does tell you when to retard, but most of the time, the pilots have already got it in that sweet spot, retarded, and they're ready to touch down. We are not leg day, unless you do fly this plane every day. Now, we can dig deeper. We knew a long landing coming, and we did. 3,600 feet down the runway. Yeah, I knew that. 5 feet to the right of the center line. Not bad. Overall dimensions, 12,000 feet of runway, folks. So 3,600. Am I worried? Not really. 200 feet of runway width. Again, not worried. This used to be a B-52 SAC base. Hint the alert Christmas tree right here. But it's no longer with SAC or Global Strike. Here's the new airside we saw coming along right here. And I'm sure it's going to be serviced by some way a tram, which I like to call them monorails. And then you can dig. Again, I think we were supposed to be 123, 124, so we're a little slow. And little out of position, but we were stable, which is the key, a good half mile to 3/4 of a mile out. So overall, good approach, of which you didn't see because that loose nut didn't let you see it. Let's do it again. Oh boy. All right, click on the flight, and you're gonna now from here see it here. You don't get the snapshot. So you can see where we landed, and we were outside the landing zone, but you can see, folks, a lot of long landings. Look at that. Literally, they are long. Because they know, for the most part, they're getting off here or here to get to their air sides. So you kind of see it coming. UPS, for those of you up here, FedEx in the Christmas tree I talked about. I'm sorry, right here. The Christmas tree here was the old Alert SAC base. And we talked about it. Now you can see it, the airside terminal being built here. How to be serviced? No, I don't know. But it definitely looks like I have no idea. I'm not even going to speculate. We'll see when it's done. All right, so there you have it, folks. Now you've all seen it. Now we'll get rid of Sim Toolkit. And let's see if we'll get a good look at this airport from a rewind. Now what I do, just because there were a couple airplanes that did this, I go ahead and start closing things up. Of course, you gotta wait a few seconds. Get the jet bridge away. We don't have chocks deployed. Let's double check. Yeah, no chocks, no external power. I did this once, folks, and everything was still open. It was quite funny. All right, so we should be good. That's one thing we'll look at on the way back. How that works at this airport with the animation. All right, so let's give it a try like we did yesterday. Everything's clear. All right, so let's give it a try. Again, this is a built-in system. There's no add-ons needed. All right, we'll just start from here. Maestro, find me a good piece of music for this. Remember, METAR, no rain. X-plane, we got rain. Not a bad approach. Like I said, we got a little low here. Planning a long runway, long land. Even the runway itself is that way. Here we go. This is the aiming point we talk about, folks. Wow. That was pretty good, folks. All right, and then we're in reverse. let's take a look at this from a couple of angles. Let's get out here while it rains when it's not supposed to. Let's see how it looked coming in this way, and then we'll look from the Hawker 125. Actually, that may not be a good spot, because that'll be right there and we're landing way up here. Actually, not bad at all, folks. Oh, what the heck, let's do it from here. Take your snapshots, folks. Alright, we're going to let her run normal time this time. Then we'll look at some seat shots and from the tower. Hopefully this time from the tower we won't be in the tower, but on the outside. See what I mean? It's not the greatest of greatest shots today, the Hawker shot. But it was a good approach. Alright, let's come back out and take a look at it from passenger point of view. Touchdown. Not bad, folks. One more look. And we take it from here to tower. Always a good landing from this view, folks. Welcome to Orlando, folks. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much for being a part of Flying with Mike today. It is, like I said, always a great pleasure. And always, you never know what you'll get. Still in the tower view, we got that. Folks, let me bring things back together here. Hope you all have a great rest of your week, great weekend ahead of you, and be safe. We'd like to see you again next week. So, folks, if you're new, we'd love you to smash that follow button, and if you're over on the wrong one, there we go, on YouTube, smash that subscribe so that way you know when next time we'll be live and on YouTube when the next video is released. Folks, you all be safe. God bless. And again, we'll see you next Tuesday here at Flying with Mike. Thank you again so much for being a part of the stream today. See you Tuesday.